Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Style by C. Thank you so much for stopping by. Are you looking for where to learn how to make a bustier with keyhole neckline? Then this is for you. Alright, stay tuned. So now the first thing I'm going to be marking, this is going to have a keyhole. So the first thing I'm going to be marking is my half length. So my half length is 16.5 inches. And I'm going to mark a ruler across. This is my start point. The next thing I'm going to mark is my shoulder line, which is 15 inches, 7.5 here. Then from where my 7.5 is, I'm going to mark 1 inch down for shoulder slope. Then from there, I'm going to mark another 7.5 for my armhole measurements. So here is also going to serve as my chest line. So this is my chest line. Then from my start point, I'm going to mark my bust point. I'm also going to mark my under bust point. So this is my bust point. This is my under bust point. This is my chest line. This is my shoulder line. Alright, shoulder and start points. So the next thing, I'm going to come to the shoulder line or the start point and mark 3 inches. The 3 inches is for my shoulder width. Then I'm going to connect it to my 1 inch down, which is going to form the shoulder slope. Right. Then to form my armhole curve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide my armhole measurements by 2. This is what I have. So placing my tape back, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. From this 1 inch down, I'll connect it to my 1/2 inch. Then I'll go to using my curve tool to connect it into my armhole measurements. Alright. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be marking my nipple to nipple. That's my bust panel. From the center point, I have 4 inches from my nipple to nipple. I'm going to mark it and rule a line. Okay, this is what I have. Then from my start point now, I'm going to be marking 4.5 inches. That's where my armhole measurement stops. That's where I want my keyhole to start. I want the opening to be here, which is here. This is where my opening is going to be. Then the next thing is where I want my bustier to start from. My bust cup to start from, where it's going to start from. So I'll be working with 6 inches. I'll be working with 6.5 inches. So I'm going to mark draw my 6.5 inches line here. Then I'm going to be, remember my nipple to nipple is 4 inches. So I'll be adding extra 1 inch to it, making it 5 inches. Mark it here. Then I'm going to use a ruler and connect it to my bust points. So this is BP. Alright, this is my chest line. This is my UB under bust, and this is the hem. This is my shoulder. Then on this line now, I'm going to be marking 1 inch on both sides of my that line. Then I'm going to connect it together this way. All right. Then coming to my under bust line, I'm going to be marking 1.25 inches on both sides. Then coming to my hemline or my waistline, I'll be marking 1 inch on both sides. Then using a rule, I'll connect them together. So this is what I have. Then the next thing is I'm going to make a curve from my under bust to my bust point. All right. So this is what I have. This is what my cup is going to look like. Then the next thing is my sweetheart neck, because it has a sweetheart in front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I want my sweetheart. I don't want it to be too showy, so I'm going to stop it at my chest line. You can decide to come in, come down, maybe half an inch or 1 inch, depends on what you want. But I want mine to stop at my chest line. So now I'm going to use my curved rule to create a sweetheart shape. So this is where my sweetheart is. All right. Then for this part now, I'll be placing my bust measurement. So my bust measurement I'm working with is 34 inches, which is 8.5 inch. My waist measurement is 7 inches. Then I'll be adding these extra inches I removed it. Like here now, I have 3/4 inch. I'll be adding it back plus extra 1 inch for seam allowance for joining. The same thing here, I have 2 inches. I'll be adding it back to this point. Then after which I'll add my normal sewing allowance. Then I'll connect this together. All right, so this is what I have. Now the next thing I'm going to be working on is this. Now from I said earlier that you come down by half an inch. It was a mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up by half an inch here. All right. Then I'm going to connect it to this my center point that is here. You can decide to use your rule. If you have a long curved rule, fine. If you don't, you can use your rule, then curve it properly. So all right, then for this area, the sweetheart, what I'm going to do, remember that I stopped it here at this my bust that is here, but now I'm going to change it to, I'm going to connect it to this point that is here. All right, so this is my, we are discarding this, we're not working with this, we're not working with this hole that is here. Then this is going up. All right, so this is going off entirely. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do at this area now is, remember I have 2 inches here, so I'm going to be adding it back to this piece plus half an inch. Then I'm going to withdraw my armhole measurements. I'm drawing my armhole measurement, so this is what I'm going to have. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut it off. All right, so before then the depth of this neck now, all right, depends on if you want to work with 3 inches, 4 inches, it depends on you. So I'm working with 3.5 inches. She don't want it too tight on her. So I'm working with 3.5 inches. Then I'm going to make a curve. So this is what my front neck is going to look like. The first part, then this other part. Then I'm going to cut it out. It's not. So this one I will be having. Then this will now lie on top this way. After joining it, then this will now come this way. Alright, giving us the opening here. So now I'll be transferring it to the fabric. For this upper part, what I did was I added extra 1/2 inch to this area. Alright, I marked 1/2 inch. This for my sewing allowance or my seam allowance. Okay. What I did was to transfer my pattern paper to my fabrics. That's what I did here. So this is my fabric. So I'll be cutting a lining for it. Alright. For the upper parts of the neck, this area, I use the fabric for my lining. But for these other areas, I'll be using a lining for it. Okay. So this is my bust here. Alright. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'll go ahead and stitch on it, run a stitch on it this way. So I'm going to run a stitch on it up to this point. All right, and I'll also do the same thing to this. Then this is my neck, the upper part of the blouse, which is having the neck. So I've joined it together and turned it out. What I'll do next is to iron it, give it a proper ironing. The same thing I'm doing to this part of the top, this bust area. That's something I will do to my lining. Okay. So after joining my cups, this is what I have, and I've also ironed these upper parts. All right, now you place it on top this way, okay, and run a stitch on it. Now you're going to be turning out your bustier, this upper part of it, with your lining. Okay, remember there's going to be an opening here, your keyhole. So that's what I will do now. Okay, so after attaching it, this is what the final look looks like. So this is what we have. All right, to give it a proper iron in this area. Okay, then I'm done. The next thing I'll do is to attach it to my skirt part.